Welcome back, ladies and gents. Mopar Man here. Today on this video, um, it's going to be the part 3 of the oiling system modifications on the Slant6. This part's going to be focusing on the oil pump itself, the tear down, the inspection, the refreshing, and a little tech tip for somebody who doesn't have a lot of money or specialty tools. I'll show you what I came up with to help you there in your garage or shop or whatever that to get this accomplished. So let's take a look here. Okay, so we got the factory aluminum oil pump for the Slant6, and I already had the oil pressure sending unit taken out. I've already got the plate off the back. I've already got the large O-ring taken off. I've got the backing plate, the little insert, the spring, the little piston, and all that stuff. Most of the guts out, but this is what was remaining to take off, and it showed in my how to rebuild and modify Slant6's a specialty tool to pull this gear drive off of the shaft of the oil pump. Well, I don't have the time or the money to go find a specialty tool and wait for it, so I improvised. As you can see, I got my 12-ton hydraulic H-frame shop press here from Harbor Freight, and then I got the 2 thick steel plates that come with it, and I turned them around to where the half crescent hole is facing in on both sides, because the part that rotates, the 4-leaf clover part of the pump in there that rotates, allow that to have space to move without interference. And then these are just, I guess you call paver bricks. I don't know, these are probably an inch and a half thick. So I got the pump facing lengthways, because if you try to do it this way, it teeter-totters, and this is more level. And I got a brick next to the pump, and a brick next to this side of the pump, and then I got a brick on top of the oil pump and on top of this side of the oil pump, and it's resting. And then I had a couple of when they were on sale at Lowe's, I bought these 2 or 3 different size Craftsman crescent wrenches. So what I did was I came in here and tightened it up to where it was just underneath the gear, and so it's resting across the brick. And then I'm using a grade 8 bolt, and as you can see, it made a popping sound, and then let's see here, maybe I can get it to hear that, and it's being, there we go, popped loose. And I already know the tolerance between the gear drive and the shaft from when I push the rotating assembly back up in there all the way. I measured the gap. What I did was I had a bunch of different thicknesses of washers laying around, and I matched 2 up that would fit just snug and take the slack out of the, so it has the right gap. So anyway, we got this off. So let's go ahead and release this. All right, give me just a minute. There it goes. Press it back up into place. Okay, now save these bricks for later. See how I have it on there? Didn't hurt it. Didn't even crack it. And then there's that part. I can take this out. Okay, so we got that pulled out of there, and we're on to our next step. Okay, so basically I got the entire pump disassembled, got all the parts cleaned up, went in with a grinder bit and smoothed out all the little rough and sharp edges, the contours and everything, to make sure everything's smooth, runs smoothly inside the pump area. As you can see, I ground some of that sharp edges there. I got done in that port hole down there and around these sharp edges down below where the rotating assembly sits on and whatnot. Kind of smooth up the transitions. I'm not going to get too wild with that. So anyway, for those of you who don't know, that down inside this tube, this is an anti-drain back tube. There is a spring and a little plug down there that once the pressure releases, basically engine shut off. It doesn't let oil flow back in. That's why there's no need for an anti-drain back on the Slant6s on the oil filter. Now the other 70 style don't have this tube, but you can probably modify one to fit on the very top. It's just a piece of steel tubing where your oil filter screws onto. You just take a measurement and you can weld that on there. And I usually just have a real thin sharpened up tube, and I basically puncture and cut out holes in the anti-drain back flap inside through the holes on the filter for these to bypass that crap. But anyway, I'm not going to reassemble this on video and all that because you guys already know how to do all that junk. I went ahead and took some 150 or 320 grit sandpaper on a DA and sanded down all this to where it's flat, but it's still got a texture on there for a good gasket seal. I did the same thing with this side before I cleaned it. Make sure the seal's got something to grip to. Anyway, that's it for this video. Next video, I'll be modifying the oil ports on the side of the engine block that the pump bolts onto, and go from there.